G'day guys, how you going? Viv here again. Bad news. I didn't get around to being able to do the hills and the flocking and stuff today. I just... I was a little bit slack. There was a few things going on. I had to do a couple other things. I'm sorry, I'll do it tomorrow. Or maybe later tonight. I just wanted to... I'm still doing some work on the 40k stuff. Jump back into that. I've done a little bit to this piece I showed earlier this morning. Thought I'd put the camera on and have a ramble. So it's night time, there's not too much going on. The workmen are still outside. It must be, what, 6:30? Yeah, 6:30. And the workmen are still out there. What was supposed to be finished by 1 o'clock, I think they're packing up and going, so hopefully we shouldn't have too much noise. So I'm just going to roll with the camera on, talk about how this piece here, things that I'm going to put together, etc. So I hope everyone's keeping well. Thanks very much for the feedback on the last couple of videos, just a little bit of randomness. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Okay, so this is what I've done so far. Just going to close that door. This is what I've done so far. This was the piece, that I showed this morning. Well, that's already zoomed in. So there's that container that I was showing earlier this morning. The two pieces of plumbing pipe. That little Pro B bottle. There's the spendy straw that I said I was going to glue in. Excuse me, all I've done from there is add a couple of straws just to give it a little bit of pipe work. If you look at any refinery, there's outside of the storage areas, in the processing area, there's massive numbers of pipes. And then I added a little, don't know if you can see that little handle, little valve. That's from the Herstarts kits. And some sort of little electrical device. Now this is very towish, but certainly this block here is, which one? This one here. This one here is kind of cool, and I put it there because it's got this little interface in it. A couple of screens at the bottom, what could be a laser door or something like that. You could have a beam running from this point to this point. This bit actually has a very gridish pattern on it, so if you dry brushed it, it would come up like a radar. And then you've got a couple little screens in there to be able to paint like screens, etc. Then this little tank on the outside here I put here simply just to give a little bit of cover to that side of the board. And I thought I'd add a couple more pieces just to, I don't know, finish off this side here. I wanted to put maybe another bottle here, another cap here. I've got a miniature here so I can know where things can move through. So I'm liking the idea of putting this bottle here. So just again with my hot glue gun. Now I'm not terribly neat with this, but yeah, about there. Placement's not 100%, but you want things to be able to move around. So for example now, that space in between there, the little man can fit through there. It's tight, but he can fit. Don't know about a larger model. So again, questions and queries time. I might use a bit of spoon in this, actually. Questions and queries time. Someone sent me a query about dragon's teeth. And it was bizarre because I was reading a book last night called Blood of the Dragon, about a bounty hunter hunting people and ultimately finding this dragon's tooth that can summon dragons. Now I haven't got too far into it, but that's a different story. Someone had asked me about dragon's teeth and how to build them, etc. Dragon's teeth, also known as tank traps, used in sort of huge numbers during World War II by the British, to sort of in the hope that they'd stave off some sort of German invasion. All over Germany, as you'd obviously imagine, used to stop tanks. Built sort of from concrete or reinforced concrete sort of pyramid shapes that allow infantry to pass through, but not tanks. Tanks would be funneled, they wouldn't be able to easily cross these, well that was the theory, and we'd be able to funnel them into killing zones and take them out with anti-tank weaponry. Now, I mean, they were useful as deterrents, sure, but they weren't as formidable as people first thought. I'm just taking a piece of sprue here. I'm trimming off all the bits and then shaving it back with a hobby knife. Oh, yeah, you can't see what I'm doing. They were easily sort of taken out by engineers, clearance vehicles, specialist clearance vehicles, and but they were laid in the thousands. You can still find them around. Obviously, they're very sturdy and hardy. They're still around today. Obviously, not used in their traditional sense as they were during the wars. They're still around today, but commonly referred to as bollards. Oh, crikey, my whole bones. Commonly referred to as bollards. Now you can find them sort of everywhere. I mean, the original design of these was to be able to redirect vehicles. And so when you think about that, sometimes at a roundabout you'll notice that in the middle of the roundabout it's ringed by concrete barriers, concrete poles. That's a bollard. An evolved piece of equipment, I suppose, from World War II when they used them to redirect tanks. So you can still find them around today, just in different sorts of senses, used to in front of shops. Used in front of shops for crash barriers and those types of things. So, how can you go about making them? Tank traps are one of the easiest things that you can do. Yeah, they'll go in there fine. Tank traps are one of the easiest things you can do. I'd recommend finding or going to a dollar store or something and getting yourself an ice cube container. Now, because tank traps or dragon's teeth were manufactured by different sides of the army, the sort of forces, and in different sort of factories, they have different shapes, but primarily the main shape is these sort of pyramidical shapes with a flat top. Some cases very short and stubby, in other cases very long, let the infantry pass through. So yeah, get one of these, get yourself some plaster. You could use plaster of Paris. It's very, very cheap and you can get it from most hardware stores. But it chips, it's very fragile. If you drop them, they're going to smash. Anyway, you can fill this with plaster of Paris. You could fill it with probably a casting plaster or a dental plaster. I know that Bunnings sell both of those. They're very cheap. You can buy them in great big huge bags, of which I've got some hanging around. Anyway, get one of these. Pour some plaster into the little holes here. Don't fill it up so this becomes one big solid block. Otherwise it'll be hard to get out and you have trouble, getting it out, let alone breaking them up so you can make the individual teeth. Just fill each teeth up, get a cup, pour a little bit into each teeth, into each hole, and let that set. Then you can pop them out. Try it on one or two first, because I've had different experiences. Try it on one or two, because I've had different experiences where various types of plastic will stick to the plaster. So in some cases you can use something like this. This is a release agent. This is primarily used for casting resin and creating molds, etc. When you have a master, you want to spray the master with a mold release before you cover it in silicone. Otherwise it can be difficult to get the silicone off. Anyway, so that was the question and query of the day. I'm just going to go through and keep on adding just a couple of extra details. If you do get hot glue all over everything, actually that was a really messy piece, it does dry and then you can peel it off. With a little bit of finesse you can cut it also, but it's a very rubbery sort of material once it dries. Yeah, that'll do. So there we go, just added an extra piece, added a little bit of straw through the middle to represent a pipe, and just to join these two pieces together, I'm going to run a pipe, if I can fit it, between this one and this one. So I'm going to see if I can fit a pipe sort of across there.